I'm very excited to have you join us today. And just a few housekeeping items before we begin. We are recording this session. The session will be posted, the recording will be posted in a number of different places following this session. And you will also each receive a copy in your emails to the email that you registered with. And this will also be on YouTube. Also, for a few housekeeping things, if you're thinking of questions as I move through the presentation, you may feel free to put them in the chat. I won't stop and answer them while I'm going through the slides, but I will go back to the chat at the end when we have the question and answer period. And as well, you can feel free at the end of the presentation when we're doing the Q&A to verbally ask questions if you wish. And then, of course, if there are some things that you think of following, our contact information for you to reach out is also on the last slide, and you're welcome to reach out at any time with those questions. So today, my name is Dr. Sheri Andrews-Key, and it's my pleasure as the director of our micro-certificate program here within the Faculty of Forestry at UBC to take you through some of the wonderful programs that we have in our bioeconomy section. And so with that, I'm going to get started here. I would like to acknowledge that we have the pleasure and honor of being situated on the UBC Vancouver campus on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territory of the Musqueam. And for that, we are very grateful. As I mentioned, my name is Dr. Sheri Andrews-Key. I'm the director of our micro-certificate programming. I also lead one of our micro-certificates in the forest resource management area or natural resource section, climate vulnerability and adaptation, and also work within our faculty in a teaching capacity and working on applied research. Here is a slide that just gives you a view of what our physical location of the Faculty Forestry looks like on the Vancouver campus. And with that, I know that everyone's busy and has taken the time out of their day to come and join us. So I'm going to jump right into our programs here. Just as a point, each micro-certificate is a non-credit program, and they run approximately 8 to 9 weeks. Now, most of this, about 90% of this, is what we call asynchronous, meaning that you can, during the time period that each course within each micro-certificate is running, so for its designated time period, you can access the materials and the lectures that you need to complete the requirements for each course at your own leisure. It's on your own time. But there are due dates for assessments and things, and these courses do move quickly. Some of them run over 3 weeks, some of them run over 2 weeks. And so it is important too that you keep up on things, but also keep up with your any announcements made by your program leads and things. And each of our micro certificates also has what we call a coffee hour, and it's a virtual session that's usually held each week. Some leads bring in guest speakers, have like time allocated for some discussions, some opportunities for networking with other professionals that are taking the programs. And since our programs began in February of 2021, and we've been building them out, we have found that a lot of people have started to build a lot of different connections from taking these. And even from my own experience as a lead, I have had adult learners from across the globe, such as the Icelandic Forest Service, New Zealand, South Korea, the Global South. So lots of North Americans. So it's really an exciting space and opportunity beyond just the learning of the actual course content and gaining these skills and competencies. Also, with each micro certificate, with each course, you receive what we call a digital badge. That digital badge can be used on your LinkedIn site, for example, and it has an embedded drop-down menu that prospective employers can click on, and it shows what skills and competencies you have been successful in achieving through this on your LinkedIn. And then you also receive a digital badge when you successfully complete all of the courses within the individual micro certificate. So I think that that is something that we've had a lot of feedback on from other professionals, that they have found that very useful. We do find a lot of professionals also take different programs with us as continued learning and opportunities to meet their professional development requirements, maybe for different associations that they're part of each year and things. So we have flexibility built into our programs as well. And that's something that we really have worked hard on doing, because we do understand that life happens, and we do know that you have a lot going on and are juggling a lot, and we want this to be accessible for professional adult learners. So we're here to work with you to do our best to help you be successful. And we have options. So if you register for an entire program, so say, for example, you start this October in one of these courses that are listed on the screen here. If you complete the first course and something happens in your family situation or work-wise, etc., and you find that you're not going to have the time to complete the next 3 courses or the next 2 courses during this session, you need to just reach out and contact us. And if you're not under the Future Skills Granting Program, which is part of, it's for BC residents, and it's funding for tuition. If you're not under that program, then we have flexibility to be able to move you a little bit more freely to future sessions. When you register for a micro certificate, you have up to 2 years to complete the whole certificate. So we do have that flexibility built in there. And if you have more questions about that, you can ask me at the end, or feel free to reach out to us separately. So jumping into the programs that we have built around or looking at the bioeconomy, we have advanced life cycle assessment of clean liquid fuels, circular bioeconomy business development, environmental footprints of organizations, life cycle assessment of clean fuels, and strategic management for sustainability. So I'm going to go into them individually now. We're really fortunate. We have a fantastic relationship with other organizations, and this is a program that we work in partnership with the BC Bioenergy Network. And I do see that Scott Stanners from there is on today, so I'll open it up maybe after I go through there too. And if Scott wants to add anything, he's more than welcome to. But in this program, we're really fortunate to have a leading expert that works out in the sector on these areas. Anna Ringard, we're really lucky to have her. So key skills and competencies in this look at understanding fuel types and their roles in emission reductions, looking at how to apply life cycle assessment to evaluate impacts, how to collect and analyze data for looking at the LCA modeling, using GH Genius, Fuel LCA, and other tools effectively, and compare models that can help better inform policy and then decisions that are made going forward within industry out there. And that's a huge piece these days. And looking at how you can look at preparing regulatory carbon intensity applications. So a lot of, as you can see, these key skills and competencies are really focused on how do you actually take this knowledge and do this type of work. And that's how all of our micro certificates are built. For the next program, we have Circular Bioeconomy Business Development, and Dr. Haibo Fen is our program lead on this. He is also within our Department of Wood Science within the Faculty of Forestry. In this program, you're going to look at the circular bioeconomy, the key concepts, the economies of it, and policies. Look at how global biotechnologies, bioprocesses, and strategies for transformation can be applied, how they're out there, how you can actually analyze traditional and emerging circular bioeconomy business models. So some of the sectors that you can explore these for would be around forestry, agriculture, bio-based products, green business, those types of things. Tackle challenges in investment and management ventures in this space, and then how you actually apply circularity assessment methods for sustainable business development. And one of the things that we do within all of these programs are look at what's actually happening out there. How is this being applied in existing case studies and work that's already going on? Moving forward to the next program, we have environmental footprints of organizations. This is led by Dr. Chin-Chi Tu. He is with our Wood Science Department within the Faculty of Forestry as well. And in this, you're going to look at how to build and evaluate product life cycle models. Again, how to look and apply at life cycle assessment software, how to compare products versus organizational life cycle assessments, prepare data, run impact calculations, and how to actually put your findings into a format that you can report on so that others can better understand that data. And then understanding greenhouse gases and reporting protocols and platforms that are out there and utilized in different parts of the sector, and then how to navigate current practices and challenges in greenhouse gas emission reporting and create reporting documents for these. So they may be environmental and social governance pieces that you'd have to create for an organization. And for those of you that may come from organizations that are publicly traded on the soft market within the natural resource sector, these are key pieces that have to be there in order for you to be able to access those markets. So a lot of important things there. Another program that we have here is looking at, this is with, again, with our partnership with the BC Bioenergy Network. And this is looking at understanding LCA fundamentals and carbon intensity of clean fuels, how to actually interpret LCA results and variability, looking at how to navigate the North American clean fuel policy, and looking at compliance models and understanding them, apply fuel LCA models and GH Genius for carbon intensity assessments, and identify high impact stages in life cycle, in fuel life cycles, and evaluate costs and benefits of GHG reduction projects for decision makers. which is a huge thing, looking at basically that business case for greenhouse gas emission reduction projects and trying to look at balancing those trade-offs there. We have here strategic management for sustainability. This program is actually led by Dr. Hamish van der Ven. He is also with the Faculty of Forestry in our Department of Wood Science. Hamish is also one of the leads for a new master's program that we have that we partner with Helsinki University on green energy, green business. So this is a really important new program that we've just started up. Hamish has a wealth of knowledge and experience in this area. And in this program specifically, he looks at how do you actually prioritize sustainability objectives and then take them and align them with the organizational goals. And that's part of that is looking too at corporate culture. And then how do you actually make a business case for this and present this to superiors and also to different stakeholder groups? And this can be quite a challenging space because stakeholders can have different priorities than perhaps the organization may have. So giving some tools and things to navigate that, how to map and engage with stakeholders, look at how you can identify relevant third-party sustainability certifications. Often these certifications can allow organizations to access other markets and then construct a theory of change for a designed sustainability goal. What are some of the barriers to success? And then how can we develop strategies to actually overcome them so that we can always keep moving forward in different ways? And then how to develop a social media strategy, which is really important, right? To how do we get the right messaging and what are some of the strategies for that relevant to sustainability? So some really key pieces there that apply to multiple sectors on different levels. So as I mentioned earlier, we have StongerBC Future Skills Grant program that all of our programs that I've talked about today have spots available in them where if you are a resident of BC and you're 19 years of age or older, this this grant can cover up to $3,500 per person for tuition, for covering the cost. There is limited funding provided, and it is on a first come, first served basis. And so if this is something that you think that you might be able to apply for, when you go to the website to register, it's linked with that. So you can go through that process there. But in order to utilize this opportunity, you have to register by September 19th. So that will be coming up soon. For all of our programs in general, this next session will be starting October 6th. For most of them, co-management of natural resources, which is in another section, starts a week early. But for all of the programs in this section, they will start October 6th. Registration will close for October 3rd. Tuition for an entire program is $2,400 Canadian. This is the set price no matter where you're from. So if you are coming from another country, you would still pay 2,400 Canadian dollars for registration for this. You do not have to apply for the program. If you register, you're in it. We don't, look at checking prerequisites or anything. It's up to you to determine based on the more detailed information that we have on our individual website for the micro certificates, if this is something that you have enough background knowledge to take. Now, for a lot of these things, If you're just not sure, please do reach out to us. And if I can't answer those questions, I can put you in contact with the program lead for you to follow up if you're just unsure. For other questions, I had mentioned earlier that we have that contact information. So we have forestry, that microcert at ubc.ca. Please feel free to reach out to us there as well. And the responses are fairly timely through that. And then we also have more information below. Please do take a look at that as well. And so with that, I am going to open things up to have some questions. So if you have any questions or anything, if you want to put them in the chat, or you can feel free to raise your hand or just unmute yourself and ask me questions there. Oh, Scott, I don't want to put you on the spot there, but I just thought I'd open it up if you wanted to just introduce yourself, and then maybe if you felt like you wanted to say a few words, because people, full disclaimer, I am not an expert in the bioenergy section or bioeconomy. My expertise is elsewhere, but I do oversee all of these programs. So I'm sure Scott could maybe do his programs a little bit more justice than perhaps I can.
Great. Thank you, Sheri. Great job. And thanks for explaining and going through the programs that we have on offer at the moment. We're really excited about them because we have this second program that we're offering for the first time this fall. What I can say about our two microcertificate programs, and I think it was Kaliani, hopefully I'm pronouncing that properly. If you're referring to our course, the life cycle assessment of clean fuels, the first course is really the fundamentals of LCA. So in a sense, I think definitely a lot of theory, also touching on policy, but we do get into the practical and technical applications. And by that, I mean, there are some exercises throughout the course and then a capstone project at the end, whereby the case study is looking at an ethanol plant in the United States. And in our course, of course, they produce ethanol and they would like to reduce the carbon intensity of their ethanol. And so they do that by they're evaluating whether they bring in a heat recovery unit. And of course, if they recover heat off their system, then they need less natural gas to put into the system. Less natural gas means less fossil fuel. And so it decreases the carbon intensity, which then increases the value of that ethanol. And so that's one practical application, and that's a techno-economic assessment. So making sure the technology is in place, and then the financial assessment as well. So I think that's a great starter course for people to get the fundamentals of life cycle assessment. And also what I can say is this course is really targeting people who have an interest in this field or people who see that compliance, these courses are really in response to federal regulations through the clean fuel regulations that require fuel suppliers. So if you're producing fuel in Canada, transportation fuel, or if you're importing it and selling it, if you're a provider of fuel, you are an obligated party who has to comply. And so one of the major benefits of our course is that Anna Ringsred Beavers is the instructor for the course. She is the former chief engineer in the BC government's low carbon fuels branch. So she really understands GH Genius, all the ins and outs, really how it works not only in BC, but across Canada and the United States as well. So we just have such an excellent instructor there. I'm so excited about Anna, and I think anybody who's taken the course already can really attest to how fantastic she is, especially the coffee hours have been really educational. The second course we're now offering this term for the first time is the Advanced Life Cycle Assessment of Clean Liquid Fuels. And this is getting deeper into the three models that Sheri mentioned. We have the BC model, which is GH Genius, Fuel LCA, which is compliance for the Canadian market. And then the other market that's important and relevant to fuel suppliers in Canada is really California. And in California, they use the tool GREET, and it's the Californian version of GREET. And so this course really takes people into those three models and looks at different fuel types that are produced. And so anyone who's actually kind of serious or interested in getting into this and helping companies with compliance, as well as strategy and saying what is our lowest cost for compliance? It's really what these companies are really trying to do. I think because the financial circumstances, innovation is actually not as much of a focus as opposed to just compliance. And so this is a great course. And aside from Anna in this course, we have a second instructor who's participating as well. His name is Logan Leduc, and he's with Eco Engineers, which is a company that also provides a lot of service. They also do some other webinars, a little different angle to what we're doing, a little more compliance with the clean fuel regulations. This is more understanding the tools of how to comply. So with that, Sheri, I'll pass it back to you. Unless my colleague Tasha wants to say anything else about the course, but I think yeah, we really invite people to look into the courses. We're happy to answer any questions, and think it's going to be a great career move for people who want to get into the space, because there's really nothing else in Canada that focuses on the Canadian market that kind of has quite this specific angle to it. So yeah, we're really excited and hope you tell your colleagues, and hopefully we see you in the course.
So Scott, there is a question here.
Mhm.
Will we have access to LCA tools and software to conduct assessments for real world applications?
Let's see. Tasha, can I have you jump in there? Because we do have access to the tools. And we actually do real world assessments. If you're looking for whether we kind of take practical examples from class, Tasha, can I pass that to you?
Yeah, absolutely. So these tools are actually available for download online. So we will provide instructions in the course materials for you to be able to access them. And we will take you through practical examples of how to model, say, renewable diesel, SAF, or biodiesel. And so it's a very practical, comprehensive course and breakdown. And we'll also have tutorial videos of showing you how to use the modeling tools. So the idea is to really capture those real world experiences and applications, and then showing you the variabilities that you might experience while modeling these fuels.
Okay, that's great. I'm so glad that the two of you joined today. It's fantastic to be able to have you speak to these directly. So thank you for that. Okay, I'm going to go back to a few of the other questions here. So not sure which program you're asking about, but for curriculum focus. No, okay, so focus more on theory, policy, or practical technical applications. So this is where these micro certificates are unique, and that they're different from credit-based curriculum. Like if you were going to go and do an undergraduate degree or a master's degree, or take a course, a credit-based course, there's a lot of focus on theory often in that. With this, our micro certificates, we really look at what is the theory that you need to know to understand this, but then how does this align with policy, and how do you actually do this? What are the practical and the technical applications of this? So it's not about meeting learning objectives per se. It's about making sure that we design the program content to help you come away with this with actual skills and competencies in and around this information, and the content in each of the programs, to be able to take and actually utilize out there in different sectors. So I hope that answers your question there. For the units, so Kelly, I think you're meaning like the different courses within each program. So what I had mentioned earlier is that if you're going to register, say you want to register to start this October, you do not have to take all of the courses during one session if it doesn't fit within your schedule. You can spread it out over time. Now, depending on what micro certificate you're registering for, most of them you do need to take the courses in a sequential order, because often they will, the first course, then the second course builds off of the first course, and that continues as you move through the program. So often you do have to take them sequentially. But if, say, you wanted to register for a micro certificate that has 4 courses within the certificate, you could register this session for the first one. You could register for February for the start of the next session for the second one. And you have up to 2 full years to complete all the courses within that micro certificate. So I hope that that helps with your question there. And also, Sandra, no worries. I'm glad that you were able to finally join us. There's no, we don't have any restrictions at this point for registration numbers. Where those restrictions or the limited spaces are for registration are around the number of spaces that are assigned to each micro certificate that are for those BC Stronger skills grants. So that's where those spaces are limited. But in terms of registering, you don't have to worry about limited space. You should be fine. If there is a challenge at all, just reach out to me, and I'll help you through that process. Okay, so about the typical weekly time commitment, and is it fully online, hybrid, or in person? Are there live sessions, or is it self-paced? Okay, so approximately, so each micro certificate has usually 4 courses in it, or 3 courses. Now the total time per week. So if you have a 2-week course, it's roughly 15 hours for those 2 weeks. So, you know, depending on yourself and how much time you're going to spend, we work it out to like looking at the readings, the pre-recorded lectures that you can access on there, the coffee hour time, and the assignments. Roughly, it should take you about 7 to 8 hours of learner time per week to complete the content. Now, you can complete the content on your own schedule each week, except for the assignments. You've got to look at when the assignments are due and get those handed in. And then about 90 to 95% of this, well, it's all online. So the whole program is online. We do not meet in person. We do have a live virtual session that we call a coffee hour. It's usually once a week for an hour. It is also recorded because we understand that not everybody can make those, but we don't want you to miss out. So you still can access that recording. It will be posted following the coffee hour. So I hope that that helps you with your question there. Belinda's, okay, so if you don't need the whole micro certificate, can you take the individual courses? If you don't need a whole micro certificate, that's a very special circumstance, because a lot of these are sequential because we build the information as we move through the courses. So if that's got to be a special circumstance, and you have to reach out directly to me as the director, and I will coordinate with the program lead based on your previous experience in that, to see if that would be appropriate or not. Does anyone else have any other questions or need more clarity on anything? Okay, so knowledge and skills learned from any of these courses are relevant to healthcare sectors in particular. From these specific courses, I myself am not aware of relevance with the Ministry of Health or healthcare authorities. I think too, it depends on your role within those organizations. So in terms of sustainability, and looking at reduction of greenhouse gas emissions and environmental footprints of organizations, I do think that that would be relevant. Life cycle assessment, maybe, with being able to better understand an organization's footprint, carbon footprint out there. So, for example, working with the Ministry of Health, there may be, and probably pieces around reporting on carbon and environmental, social, and governance pieces might be relevant. So one of course is perhaps on sustainability and greenhouse gas emissions, such as Hamish's, might be quite applicable to what you're working on. So if you want more information, please do reach out to me and I can connect you directly with Hamish or with Hybo, or Chinchi for that. Any other questions? And I mean, we really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedules to join and to hear about our programs, and for your interest as well. And don't hesitate, after this, if you're thinking, oh, I just thought of this, please do reach out. And again, you will get the recording in an email, from this. Okay, so I don't see any other questions coming in the chat there. So I'm going to wrap things up here. I do really, really appreciate again you making the time and looking for the interest. We are still developing more courses within our micro certificate program. Lots of exciting things happening in this professional learning space. So I'm really excited to see the interest. And yes, again, please do reach out. So with that, I'm going to wrap things up and have a wonderful rest of your day.